Hello, my friends, and welcome. It is Saturday, February 1st, 2020. This is 2020. I am the Drunk Guru. 'Tis beer time. Flagship February's back now. Again, we talk about this all the time. You don't have to just drink flagship beers in February. You can drink them all year round. Yes, I get it. I do it. But in February, we're celebrating them. And isn't that a wonderful thing? Why the hell not? Why not? Now listen, I love new beers too. A lot. I'm a bit of a geek about new beers. I freak out a lot about new beers because I'm like, I want to try the new beer. But what I found in the last year is that something's happened. And my appreciation and love for a good, clean, crisp lager has come full circle. So the other day I stopped at Shawn and Ed's, Lagershed in Dundas, and I actually met Ed. So Shawn and Ed. Thank you, Ed. And we got talking about the lager. Now, Shawn and Ed's is the second brewery to open in Hamilton, but probably the one you hear about the least. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that they do tend to stick to lagers. Now, I talked earlier this week about an IPA they released, which was really good. They do have other things, and you need to get out there. I think they need to do a better job of getting out there about that. Hey, we're not just about lagers, but I wanted to talk to them about lager because of my transformation. And we talked about it. And a very passionate guy. Now, they own a winery. He owns a winery, too, which I'm like, I like wine. He gave me a bottle of wine. Thanks for the wine. But and talking about beer, so I went and bought these at the LCBO because I asked him, like, why did you switch to these bottles? Okay, why these bottles? And he told me the reason. Now, I use the Spellwoods cans from last night. So when you're going down the canning line, right, fill the beer, thing goes in, fills the beer, whoop, and it moves on to the next part, they put the lid on. Then it goes to the spinner, and it tightens the lid. There's oxygen exposed there. Shawn and Ed's. So this, vacuum sealed, no air in there. Pumps the beer in, cap goes on. Vacuum sealed. And the tinier space at the top. So it's trying to ensure that less oxygen, because oxygen is bad for your beer. I can appreciate this. He told me a story about early days. You know, the batch come out cloudy, and he says, well, why is it cloudy? Like, what's going on? Wow, we need a lab. So they put a lab in to ensure that their beer is perfect every time. They have a lab, like a serious money lab, with a scientician and everything. So I have great respect for that. I've told you that. And I think I've done disservice to Shawn by not going out there enough. But again, my love of lagers has been relatively new, and so I wanted to revisit this on Flagship Friday, the first day. I do like this. This is a good, and honestly, a good camping beer. You know, you could drink it at a thing, but I'm going to put it in a glass because I like putting beer in a glass. So, yeah, we discussed lagers and you know, what he likes and what he wants to see come out of his brewery and stuff like that. And, I mean, it is a beautiful beer. You know, what I look for in a lager, it needs to be that, a lager. You know, this is a time-consuming beer to make. You have to let it lager, to store, to lager it. So I appreciate that. So cheers to Shawn and Ed's. Flagship February is back. Why the hell not? I love the concept. Stephen Beaumont come up with it, but thank you, Mr. Stephen Beaumont. I'm going to celebrate it again every year. So we're going to try and do a lot of flagship beers this month, but we're going to start with the simple Lagershed from Shawn and Ed's. Cheers. Smells like a beer, and I like that. It's a lager. You know, again, I hate describing these beers because they're difficult for me to describe. It tastes like a beer, but more. It has a great body to it. There is a smoothness to it. There's a roundness to it. Inside of that crisp and clean lager taste, that biscuity malt body, that kind of... There's a fruitiness to a good lager that is hard to describe. Sometimes apple comes up, but pear, fresh cut grass, these kind of things. There is... Now, with a Pilsner, you get more of a noble hop spice. With the lager, you get a little bit less than that. They're both lagers, yes, I understand. I'm just saying. The style, a Czech Pilsner, right? This is a straight-up lager. There is a nice beer bitterness on the back. It's, for lack of a better word, good. You know, it's not designed to do anything except for be a beer. But it's really hard to do. But it tastes like it isn't. Hops cover a lot of mistakes. Believe me, my first homebrew, that's what the guy told me. He's like, make an IPA. And I'm like, what? An IPA? Those are really hard. And he's like, hops cover a lot of mistakes in homebrew, and I'm like, I see what you mean. So that's a damn good beer, and I can appreciate that, and I think I appreciate it more now than I did 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago, which says a lot about personal growth and development, I suppose. Oh, drunk, just a wordy drunk, folks. So again, Dundas, one of the prettiest breweries in Canada. It's an old curling rink. It's just gorgeous. It's shiny with the tanks, and then there's this old wood, and there's a big bar. Go try the new stuff. Nerd like me, you want to nerd out, you want to go try IPAs. They have a great smoked beer on right now, which I didn't think I would like, and I was like, this is like Muddy York level good smoked beer. Muddy York makes a really good smoked beer, by the way. But that was the level. I was like, ooh, nice dark lager too. Mm-hmm. And then English IPA, which is fantastic. But to cleanse your palate, to actually observe and report back, try the lager. Why not? Look for your local LCBO, pick it up. This is good party beer, like aluminum can. As far as I know, the only people doing aluminum cans. This is a tall boy. It's 473 ml, if you can believe it. But it's very distinctive. This is great for party, because, this is out drinking beers. Drinking beers. You're like, woo, yeah, good. See what I mean? But I'm still going to put it in a glass. I'm not a heathen. Still, enjoy your day. Cheers. Lager. I'm going to have to open the other one now. Lager problems.